All right, traders. Hey, welcome on back here this Monday, March 9th. Great to have all of our students here back inside our live trading room. Got Bill, you got Nabil, you got Uday, Phil, Marco, you got Mocktail, got all of our students just here inside our chat. Give me a quick sound check so you know that you got me, so that I know that you got me there. Tongue tie. How about that? Mark, good? Perfect. I've got Mark, you got all of us, but either way, great to have you back inside our live trading room or otherwise on social media. I'm talking to you out there on the Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Popping up lower left at Cyber Trading You. If you're new to our stream platform, social, you name it, just make sure to hit the follow and subscribe button down there. But with that in mind, I'll tell you what, kind of a frustrating trade, not really a frustrating day. Overall, decent day, but the HIMS trade just more flat now at this point. Where you thought it would try and squeeze up higher, it hasn't. Where you thought it would try and fill more of the gap going down, it hasn't, right? I mean, pretty much where we expect reversals to happen at 10:30 in the morning or so, well, it started to bottom out then. Pretty much right around 10:30, double bottom, held higher from there. Beautiful move. I mean, I got to say, this has been a great squeeze back up, but, laying over support or making higher lows doesn't pay the bills. That doesn't make us the big bucks, right? It's that breakout. It's that higher high that you ultimately need to see. And that's where this trade's been lacking. So, kind of frustrating a little bit in that regard. The HIMZ is the double leveraged, albeit much cheaper ETF. Listen, when you got HIMS out there trading at 22, I don't need to trade the ETF when this is still within my price range. Not only that, but this is on a good spread. This has the icebergs. But, for anyone that's on a tighter budget, then you at least got something there too, the HIMZ, to go with it. Now, though, the markets have been cruising today. We have been pushing up beautifully right around 10:15. Market bottomed out ultimately at 10:30. Higher low, reversal. So great move across the day on the SPY. I'm not fully convinced just yet of a major squeeze back up until we get back up and above where we broke below from the end of last week, that psychotic chop for the last 3 or so months. Well, if we can get back up and above that support that we were holding over, then I'll feel much better about what's to come. And I'm still feeling great long-term, folks. It's just a matter of level by level, right? So if I could see SPY solidify over this area, I'd love to load up on option calls. I mean, more on the swing side than even the day trade side. But, it's been a great day today. We filled the overnight gap from Friday market close into the open here this morning. So I think that we're doing pretty fine here right now, and hopefully a lot more to come going into today, tomorrow, this week, next week, etc. Now, what we'll just do, though, pretty briefly here is just go right from top to bottom here. Had a decent morning on RCAT, decent morning on the LHRC, or I think it was the RLMD trade too, and a couple others that had popped before. So, speaking of popping, the market is trying to break out right here as we're talking right now. So probably catch some name brand stocks doing pretty good too. ANTX, let's just start off here. I mean, definitely best mover, best performer of the day so far. Huge short squeeze going on up. I think that this was also one from Friday that we ended up trading too. Not nearly on as much volume, but made a great pop and only to, push up more here today. Now, this is a gap fill, or try to hit this top. Came back down here, a little pop and drop over it here today. Now going into the afternoon, though, hey, it's kind of trying to squeeze back up here. Spread's going to open up a little bit, but it's still tradable. More of a category 3 or 4 stock, I would kind of put it as. But, it goes on our list again, ANTX. Especially more with this move than anything. If it just pulls back, we'll come back to it if we need to and maybe write it off if it really tanks. But for right now, we're going to keep it back on our list. DTCK, Davis Commodities, ended up having a nice pop. Oh, what time did stocks reverse? Not just the market going back on up, but this on the way back down. This reversed pretty much right at 10:30. But, it's still kind of holding higher lows. That's the part where it's kind of lowering you in a bit. This has thinner liquidity compared to the other one. I'm not really fully sold on it. Even though it's popping, that's fine. There's thousands of stocks that pop. We need to have a stock that pops on good liquidity and one that you feel more confident about continuing to pop, not just flash in a pan type move. We got resistance here at 283, 20,000 plus shares seller. Let it break over that first. All right. Now, I will say, hey, you just got to do your homework, and not even you. For Jim and Andrea and Elizabeth, Leda, Kevin, you just got to be in our trading room, right? Just got to be in our trading room. Just check the chat, read the chat here and there. We'll try and post as much as we can. And over the last week, we've been on top of a few different energy type of trades. INDO, we're very familiar with this. And anytime there's tension going on with like the Middle East, war, oil, this company will make a pretty interesting pop drop type of move. A gig, that was one from last week, end of February into March. It's down now, it's in the dumps now, but it was a fun day trade type of call out. Well, also another one, USEG was actually a fun trade last week. Even this morning, this was on the gainer side until they came out offering news. That's the news that came out on that. You got to be careful on these types of trades, but anytime there is big news going on out there with war, the Middle East, oil, etc., hey, these stocks will make a pretty volatile move. Not to say they're swing trades, but good day trades. So unless if this stock comes out similar offering type of news as the USEG just did, for right now, it's trending back on up. It's recovering well after that, other stock tanked, and good liquidity for right now. So I don't mind just adding this. EONR. We've mentioned this from the last week. It's been on our radar, like probably on the back end of those, on the back end compared to the others that we just mentioned. But hey, this is doing pretty good here today. Camp 4 Therapeutics. I thought Rich made a typo writing the letter or the number 4 next to the word camp. I was like, oh, just fat finger there. Oh no, it's actually in the name. Camp 4 Therapeutics. Interesting. Little push up earlier, higher lows. Again, not really great liquidity out there, especially on the bid. RLMD's moving up nicer and similar liquidity, but I'd rather focus on this trend. So I don't mind adding the RLMD for the time being. Probably more of a category like 3-ish type of trade. Make sure the spread doesn't open up much more than this really, but looking pretty active. Nice move. Looks like a Fausto flag broke out here pretty much to the upside. Turb trade, TURB, also another one that had a good push earlier on this morning. Reversed a little bit after that 10:30, perhaps, but no lower highs from there and just kind of came back down. So I think that we're done on this trade, but keep this on your radar. Keep this on your side list. Keep this on your radar. Just day over day over day, nearly pretty much every day the stock's been pushing. All right, HIMS teaser. Not going to put it on our list right now. If it pops as I'm yapping, then we'll come back to it. CCCC. I'll just say the C trade, kind of like the U trade here. Oh, no, not that U. I'm talking about this U. You got quadruple U. You got the U trade. Well, this one here, we'll just kind of call quadruple C. I guess C4. It's literally a name, C4. So what, you got Camp 4 Therapeutics, and then you got C4 Therapeutics. Interesting. For anyone with traders dyslexia, you get that every now and then. A couple funky names that might be relative to each other, but probably aren't, but they're kind of right there on the gainers list right next to each other. Get that every now and then. You'll get like, dogs and wolf next to each other, but, two completely separate companies. Or pets and like meow or something like that. You know what I mean? But, quadruple C, and it's pushing on up here for the time being. Nice stock. I mean, just got a little iceberg. It needs to break over first before it tries to make a better move. But yeah, C4. $3D. All right. So I think that we're on to something there. Some funky names that kind of a similar, type of thing like C4, 3D. What's next? Like 2E. All right. Seriously, before the tomatoes start getting thrown at me. Nice trade, though. Either way, slow and steady stock, more of a category 1 type of move. Prop. This one's going also up pretty nicely here for the time being. Right now, though, otherwise, unless if it's really at the highs on great volume, KC. This was actually on my gainers list earlier today. I think this is like a Chinese equity. So what I mean by that is a lot of these Chinese-based companies or Asian market-based companies will tend to have larger gaps on the daily chart because they tend to trade more actively in the overnight hours compared to US hosted companies. So look at all these gaps. That's what I'm just discussing. That's what I'm talking about there. So we're familiar with this stock, KC. It's at the high today. This could be a great swing trade opportunity. I'm going to put it on our list. Up, per. What I say? I say meow. We got per instead. I don't make this shit up. I just go through it day to day with you guys here. I've seen this stuff happen all the time before. I saw who was it, Bill earlier? I think it was on the SNDK trade, SanDisk or whatever. SanDisk. This is the ETF. Nice move from earlier. Rocket RCKT, not to be confused with Rocket Mortgage RKT, but it's having a pretty good day. I wouldn't mind adding this. We'll go through the gainer side just one more time as we finish up. Just kind of last call if there's anything else like on the fence. The ATAI I'm going to put on our watch list here. This looks a little bit stronger at the highs. Little resistance next up at 387. XTIA, ESPR. You got a lot of stocks that are like kind of moseying around the highs. So we don't want to put every single one on the list. You got to check liquidity. Redwire's looking pretty decent here. RDW, higher lows, good order book. Hopefully can make that better push here coming up next. Check the daily chart here too. Just want to kind of get through this meeting here pretty quick. Yeah, it's stuck in some consolidation, but this has the chance to try and break higher above those highs from last week and the week before. AAOI, stocks near all-time highs. We talked about that last week. VRT is a defense/drone type of stock. I know that because I read an article earlier today. How about that? I could read. No, I didn't really know much about VRT until earlier today. Been a phenomenal swing trade with defense/drone, etc. But I was kind of doing some research today on like those companies. VRT, big name. Circle, nice pop earlier today. I had my time wasted a little bit on this with the CRCG. Made like 8 cents or 7 cents a share on it. Not terrible, but you wanted more. Just didn't get it. ALT, vaccine stock, not doing bad there. I can kind of add that if we need to at the end. The Fastly trade, I know a few of us did really well on this. I think like Tim did really nice. Scott did really nice. Scott S., one of our Trader Summit members here, and a bunch of us actually from like the last month or two. This FSLY took off really well. So one that we are pretty familiar with. It's right now kind of making lower highs here. So we'll kind of keep it on our side list for now. All right. So Michael, Kathleen, Leda, George, Steve, all of us here in chat right now. I'm just kind of seeing the participant list. Let me know if there's anything else that's looking good from your side of things on the way up, and check it out as we finish here. But we'll hop over to the loser side right now. This already squeezed up earlier, I guess. Nice little dead cat bounce there. OLMA. BATL's done. That thing's dead in the water. RCAT. This one we figured was kind of dead in the water, the RCAT trade, because your next support after it broke below 15 was not until 13, right? So not a surprise to see this pull back. Could it be a good short to drop down to that price? If the stars really align, yeah, but right now I'd kind of wait to see a dip and like to see support build across this week there. It could be one if you're looking to practice your shorts on. It's kind of close to the low of the day. Support at 13. There's a game plan there. But, is there like a necessity? Peace Guy. Geez, talk about weak graphs. I mean, there is not necessarily a necessity here, but otherwise, lower highs, pulling back today, much weaker graph, and in that sense, stronger to look for a potential short. You got support down at $11, so you got to wait for that to break first. But this might be more in line for a short compared to RCAT. Why? Because RCAT's a lot stronger going up. So it's tough to bet against that long-term trend there. A lot more comparative to that Peace Guy trade. All right. What else here, folks? JetBlue down big. JetBlue kind of stinks. Not surprising. Hey, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. For any of my JetBlue people out there, my apologies. I'm a Delta guy. Flying out Wednesday at least this week. Wednesday afternoon. So got my Delta at least there. But otherwise, folks, any of our students, let me know if anything else is looking good, at least across the board before we finish up. Bill says, Tom Sosnoff says April 16th is when the vote to change the pattern day trade rule is set to be. Yeah, I saw something for like late April, and I saw it from Tom's like Twitter account. So I got to look further into that bill. I think I don't know if that's the full date though, but that's the next time that they're gonna like do a vote on it. I don't know if they're gonna delay it again, make an adjustment to the date and push it off even more. So we got to find out more on that to be exact. But it is like I think like late April. It's either the 16th or the 26th. I thought I saw the 26th on his Twitter thing, but you might be right. The 16th. Gotta double check that. Oh, you're on a Zoom present. Okay, well, Bill knows that he's on a Zoom presentation as we speak. Tom, there we go. Yeah, the LRHC is kind of dead right now, Jim. This thing's kind of making lower highs. Good trade from earlier though. A little pre-market pop or pop at the open rather. Oh, there you go. A couple of us here directly on YouTube as well as inside our live trading room. No problem at all there. And with that, let me just check out Benzinga before we call it here a wrap here, folks. Check out some larger cap stocks too while we're at it. DTCK looks like that's popping back on up here. So might be a couple trades that we could take a look at. Yeah, DTCK is trying to prove itself here. I said it needs to for us to kind of put it back on our list. So there you go. DTCK will re-add. This not so much. This not so much. This is trying. This just popped up on my scanner right now, Mark, saying the RLMD trade. Did I add this yet? Yeah, I added this one already at least. I got this one already at least. So looking good. All right. Well, let's check out some larger cap stocks while we're at it, and we'll finish up. Listen, you got NVIDIA trending up really well. So if you do pretty well trading NVIDIA, or a Tesla, or I can go through pretty much most stocks. Fausto's Netflix making a higher low. Not a bad looking graph, just I'm not going to put it on our main list. And I'd say the same with pretty much most of these others. Apple's not looking half bad there, right? So if you personally do well on any of these larger cap stocks, listen, I'm rooting everybody on, but for right now, let's just start and stick with our watch list here to begin. And then if there's any like crazy random halts that pop up out of thin air, we'll call them out at that point. We'll kind of toss those into the fold then. But I love what we got here to begin with, folks. Less is typically more, so not a bad list altogether. And hey, we'll be back on in just a bit here, taking you into the market close. All right. And if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., join us tomorrow directly at 12 o'clock Eastern. Actually, this whole week, we got a long list of events this whole week, including our big Cyber Expo event coming up Wednesday into Thursday. Yours truly got the hot tag. I appreciate being on such a nice panel with all these different business owners, analysts, traders, gurus, etc. You got a bunch out there this week that we're going to be hosting. So if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., first and foremost, you can go directly to Cyber Trading U. That's our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. And you can go directly to our homepage, quite frankly. This is it here. Click this big old button, register for our Cyber Expo event coming on up. That'll be at least Wednesday into Thursday. There we are. So stay tuned for that at least. You got to register there to join us. Jeff Hirsch, Christopher Moulin. You got, of course, the man, Tom Sosnoff, formerly from Tasty Trade, now at lostdog.com. But otherwise, myself, Andrew Keene, Jeff Gibby, Jeff Capra, everyone out there joining us this week. So look forward to being there. And again, if you want to join us, go directly to our website and you can register just right on our homepage. And then again, tomorrow, just live tomorrow before we kick off our Cyber Expo. That's Wednesday and Thursday. Keep in mind, tomorrow we'll do our typical routine weekly workshop I host at noon Eastern. Traders Talk. That is on our YouTube. That's on our social media streams and platforms as well. Simulcast inside our live trading room. Of course, you guys know that there, traders. So just make sure that you're there as well. That'll be Tuesday tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. All right, folks. But hey, I'll talk to everybody soon. Otherwise, directly inside our live trading room. We'll go from there, folks. Take care.